Hi everybody, welcome again to another video. I'm Dana Claiborne, language arts tutor, and today we are focusing on body paragraphs again, but specifically outlining principles. We have been going through persuasive essays, and so this is, I don't know which number of video this is, but we have been focusing on persuasive essays and building body paragraphs especially. And every good body paragraph starts with topic sentences, which is the main idea of each body paragraph. So I'm going to get into a lecture today that I call Persuasive Strategies, and it actually kind of connects with things that you may or may not have seen in school. And today I just kind of put a little bit of a different spin on it to help you generate topic sentences, because you got to have those good ideas to make those solid body paragraphs that'll get you those grades that you want to get on your argumentative essay or qualify you for anything that you're using an essay to apply for or whatever. Okay, so I want to get right to that and switch over to my PowerPoint guide, which I am using, as is my custom, to share these particular principles with everybody. So let me get myself on board. And here I am. Okay, so I call this Persuasive Strategies, Ways to Appeal. This is all about appealing to your target audience, whoever that is, when you're writing a persuasive essay or whatever it is. Maybe it's not just a traditional persuasive essay, but maybe it's anything that's meant to appeal to someone. Okay, and so when we say when we talk about developing topic sentences, the first way that I usually show students involves this little 3-word principle I call consider all involved. And that just means to think about whoever is affected by the decision being made for whatever topic you're discussing. Okay, so whoever rather is affected by that decision is someone or some entity that you can use as a subject to focus on for a topic sentence. Okay, and so that's what that means. I won't get into that too much. I have those saved for another lesson that I've already done on other videos. But that is the first, just a reminder to anybody who's seen that principle before. That is the first principle I usually share with students about getting those good topic sentences for their persuasive essay, for their thesis. But the main emphasis of today are what I call methods of appeal. And this is about directing your train of thought so that you come up with different ways to connect with somebody pertaining to your idea that you're trying to persuade them to believe. Okay, and so these 3 words, ethos, logos, and pathos, are taught in school, and they're taught mostly as ways of support, right? You might see ethos presents arguments based on reliable, credible information. Expert opinion, let me just go ahead and put information on the end of that. Expert opinion to support a position. Okay, maybe an industry professional, somebody who has credibility in a particular field of study. In school, they'll teach you ethos. That's what that means. That's a method of support for a particular argument or idea. Okay, logos is, as it's presented in school, it means supporting an idea based on statistics or some kind of data. A lot of times it involves numbers or informational findings or experimental data or something of the like. So logos, as it's taught in school, also a way to support an argument. Okay, then you got pathos, comparably, is supporting an argument based on personal experience or connection a lot of times this involves the telling of a story. Okay, so these three terms, Greek words, I think they are taught in school as ways to support a particular argument. But I want to spin it kind of a different way today. I want to talk about these three terms as used as methods of appeal. That means ways to think about how to get a topic sentence or how to support a thesis. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of spin it a little differently to get the train of thought going different ways, so that you can if you can think differently. The thing to remember is, if you can think differently, then you can come up with different topic sentences and different ways to support an argument. And that's the problem that many students have had, is thinking differently. So instead of ethos, logos, and pathos that way, we're thinking about ways to appeal. And when we say appeal, what does that mean? The way I think of appeal, I think of it as presenting something that has a degree of familiarity, right? Something that somebody can relate to. Because if you present something that somebody can relate to, in all likelihood, you're more likely to get a response. And that is what effective persuasion does. It presents something that somebody can identify with or has some degree of familiarity with, so that it triggers a response. Yeah, that's what they do in the Pizza Hut commercials, right? Where they show you, this perfect looking pan pizza, and they don't just show you the pizza, they show you, toppings perfect, nothing looks out of place. And they don't just show you that, they show it steaming hot in somebody's hand, reaching in, slowly grabbing a slice so you can see the cheese and all of that. What are they doing? Well, they're appealing to a degree of familiarity that you probably have with pizza. Even if you had never had pizza. Now, most people that live in the United States have had pizza at some point. Most people probably, I'd imagine. But even if you had never had pizza, there's a good chance that you know what bread tastes like, or what, cheese tastes like. You know how delicious it is, right? But what if they showed that same commercial to an alien, right? Someone who's not from this planet? Well, would that appeal to them the same way it would to one of us? When they look at that commercial, they see cheese. For all they know, it might be some glue, that sticks stuff together, some kind of major adhesive. Yeah, they might have no clue that that's food. You see? Why? It doesn't appeal to them because there's no familiarity. You see, it wouldn't be as appealing as it would be to somebody who is or has some degree of familiarity. So when we see it, we're thinking pizza, $9.99. Pizza, $9.99. Gotta go get pizza. And that's exactly what the advertisers want. They want for you to respond to something that you saw, right? Well, these three words can be used to appeal, which means to present concepts to somebody that they're familiar with, in a way that, I can identify with that, so it triggers a response out of me. So I want to talk about these three words used to appeal. The first one I found was ethos, as it pertains to ethics. This word is one of the roots of ethics. And ethics means to appeal. An ethical appeal can appeal to someone based on their moral code or their sense of right versus wrong. And that's kind of what ethics is about. Ethics is about right versus wrong. Most normal people, or mostly normal people in our world, have some kind of moral code. and you can use that to appeal to them. Okay, and so key words: advocating that something is wrong, or appealing that something is wrong, or advocating that something is right. All right, those kinds of words and terms can really trigger someone's sense of conviction and make them respond to whatever it is you're discussing. Okay, and so key words like responsibility, duty, fairness, justice, morality, all of those are ethical words. And so you can design topic sentences, which are reasons why to support your thesis. You can write topic sentences that appeal to a person's sense of ethics. Now, I like to suggest 3 key terms. Sometimes, these are 3 keys of ethics, I call them. And what they are is different subtopics within ethics that you can appeal to. The first one would be fair versus unfair. Okay? All right? The second one, right versus wrong, morality versus immorality or integrity, or responsibility versus irresponsibility. Now, are these the only 3 key terms of ethics? Certainly not. There's other things you can use. But I think these are 3 really good ones that you can usually always engage when writing a topic sentence that persuades someone to either believe or dissuade someone from believing something. Okay? So, fair versus unfair. What does that have to do with? That has to do with equity, balance. If something, you can make a case for something as fair if it balances out. You can make a case for something as unfair if it is unbalanced or is not level, meaning something's happening on one side that's not happening on the other side. Okay? So that can be one topic sentence angle that you can take. Second, right versus wrong, morality and integrity. This one's kind of two-pronged, I think. You can make a case for something as the right course of action or the wrong course of action based upon the presence or absence of virtue. That means the presence or absence of goodwill involved, or whether or not it upholds or violates somebody else's rights. I can make a case for something as the right course of action if it upholds somebody else's rights, or I can make a case for something as the wrong course of action if it violates somebody else's rights. Okay? And then you got responsible versus irresponsible. This has to do with risk assessment. Okay? I can make a case for something as responsible if it alleviates or mitigates or minimizes, I'm using all these words, minimizes a potential risk. Likewise, I can make a case for something as irresponsible if it exposes a potential risk, right? I give the example, let's say I got Sarah, and Sarah has, she's in her house, and she's watching her little brother, and he's playing with paper towels over a lit stove, right? So what does she do? She walks over, she takes the paper towels from him, she turns turns the stove off, smacks his hand, and drags him away from the stove. Well, what did she do? What she did was the responsible thing to do. Why? Because she responded to a potential risk. Okay? There was a great risk of the house catching on fire and burning down. She responded to it, and so you could say that her course of action was responsible. You can make a case for that as responsible. If she had just simply ignored him, or started playing on her phone or walked away, you could have made a case for that as irresponsible, an irresponsible course of action. Why? Because it failed to respond to a potential risk. You see, That's what we mean when we say responsible versus irresponsible. So all of these are great keys of ethics that you can use to write topic sentences. Now, let's take a look at them of how they would look if you were writing it for the allowance prompt, right? This is the allowance prompt that I usually often open persuasive essays with when teaching it to students. We ask the question, should children receive an allowance? Okay, so if we got an opposing thesis that says children should not receive an allowance, well, let's consider topic sentences that support that. It is unfair to give children allowance if they haven't earned it. Okay, so that one is focusing on, the fair versus unfair tentative ethics. All right, second topic sentence. It's irresponsible to give children an allowance they have not earned. Okay, all right, third topic sentence. It's morally unjust, or you could say wrong, to give children an allowance they haven't earned. So these three topic sentences are all based on the key tenets, the keys of ethics, and they support this thesis. All right. Well, if I was supporting the thesis, or if I wrote a thesis that supported allowance, children should receive an allowance from their parents. Okay. Well, what might my ethical topic sentence sound like then? Well, one right here. Giving children an allowance is fair. All right. Or, parents have the responsibility to give children extra spending money. So if I said it's fair, then that means I'm talking about how it balances out. Maybe I would explain that, everybody else has the ability to earn money. And since children are old enough, not able to work, then they don't get anything. So to balance it out, parents should give children an allowance to make it balance. Well, that's what I would explain. I have to explain how it's level if I explain how it's fair. Okay, same comparable thing here. Parents have the responsibility. Okay, so that means risk assessment. All right, to prevent children from the temptation to steal, then they should give them money, right? Now, some people want to say no, they should give them a spanking or something else, or ground them or whatever. But you get the idea, right? That's what we mean when we say risk assessment, like, responding to a potential risk. And so these are what topic sentences would look like if they're ethical. And notice this is a completely different train of thought than what many people consider, or what many students consider when they're writing topic sentences. Okay, so we're just gonna look at another prompt question. How about the one that is persuading Zaina to clean her room? I haven't seen Zaina in a while. Zaina is actually very, very clean, I think. She seems to be very organized. So this is all 100% fictional. So shout out to Zaina if you're watching this. You cool. And I know that this doesn't apply to you at all. But at any rate, the thesis says Zaina should be required to clean her room. Okay? So now we're going to come up with a topic sentence that, I think I want to do the other one first. Well, yeah. Let's do the other one first. Thesis says Zaina should definitely clean her room. All right? So the second one said, the topic sentence says Zaina's failure to clean her room is unfair. So this is a reason why to support this thesis, right? So we call it unfair. That's the key of ethics that we're using, which means we got to explain how it's imbalanced, right? And so that's what the paragraph does. If I read it, it says everyone in the house has to ensure that their living space is clean. When Zaina fails to clean hers, her mother is forced to ensure that her room is clean and therefore cleans for her. This causes her to use more energy to clean Zaina's room in addition to her own, while Zaina is using no energy at all. Therefore, it is unfair. Therefore, her actions are unethical. Okay? Well, just notice, we explain how it's unbalanced. Mom is exerting extra effort. Zaina is exerting no effort. And so that's unbalanced. You see? So we say it's unfair. Just recognizing that's what you have to explain for that key of ethics. You see what I mean? And then this one that I was going to look at first. It says Zaina should be required to clean her room. That's a thesis. And now, topic sentence, Zaina's failure to clean her room is irresponsible. Well, irresponsible has to do with risk assessment. In other words, I got to explain how it poses a potential risk, right? So that's what the explanation does. It says every family often has loved ones and people who may come to visit them. As a result, the parents will often ensure that their house is presentable and suitable to host guests. If Zaina fails to keep her room clean, the possibility remains that someone at any particular time may visit and see her room. This could cause her parents and family to be embarrassed, and the person visiting to think poorly of Zaina and her family. Therefore, failure to clean her room is irresponsible because it poses the risk of misrepresenting her family. So there you go. We explain how it exposes a potential risk. And that's what we mean when we say responsible versus irresponsible. So these keys of ethics are great ways to think about getting ideas to support a thesis statement. Okay? So what I emphasize for students, especially those that are getting into higher level essay writing, practice incorporating ethics and ethical angles for your topic sentences because it's impressive. If you can discuss something ethically, it shows that you have thought about morality and integrity, which are kind of keys of leadership, right? And so if you can show that you can do that in a persuasive essay and do it well, it really does stand out, and it is an impressive angle to take. Okay, so I really highly encourage ethical argument and ethical angles inside of the persuasive essay. Okay, but once again, or to add to that, ethics is not all. You also have logos, and this is what I think most students use already when writing topic sentences to support a thesis. Logos, I think, is one of the roots of the word logic, which means what makes the most sense. All right. In our case, I add to that and say what provides the best advantage or avoids a disadvantage. And so logical topic sentences are usually the kind that I feel like most people use. And here's one right here. It says, if Zaina cleans her room, her parents will reward her. Okay. And the second one, if Zaina cleans her room, she'll be more organized, which prevents stress. Okay. So those are just, normal reasons to clean your room. You see, normal reasons to support the thesis, right? Because the thesis says Zaina should clean her room. Okay. All right. Then we got pathos. Pathos presents or gives or provides support for an argument, a thesis, based on an emotion. Okay. And so the key is it can be any type of emotion, and there are several types of emotion. We got excitement, we got fear, we got love and compassion, we got pride, we got anger. All of those are different emotions you can appeal to when trying to write topic sentences to support a thesis. So here's another example. All right, it says Zaina should clean her room to mitigate the burden on her mother, who already works really hard. So what emotion is this topic sentence appealing to? Okay, well, it's appealing to sense of love and compassion, right? We're tugging on your heartstrings. We're saying, have a heart. Have a heart and be easy on mom. Mom works so hard, and then she has the labor of having to clean her room to make the house presentable when she already does so much. Have a heart and help mom out. You see, that is an appeal to emotion. You look at this one. Failure to clean your room has proven to foster a breeding ground for those brain-eating amoebas. That's not spelled right. For those brain-eating amoebas. They live in dust and have invaded areas around the bed frame and been ingested when people have slept. Now, I don't know if any of that's true or not, but you get the idea. What emotion are we appealing to? Well, we're trying to make you afraid, right? So that would be fear. You see, any emotion that you want to appeal to, you just have to say to yourself, what could I say about my topic to appeal to this particular emotion? And that would be pathos style method of appeal. Again, appeal means presenting something to someone that they can relate to. People can relate to love and compassion. People can relate to being afraid of something, okay, or something that they don't want. And so that's the reason why those styles of appeals, that style of appeal is effective. So you can use ethos, okay? You can use logos, and you can use pathos as methods of appeal. I put an extra emphasis and an extra endorsement on ethos or ethics, okay? Because I believe that it is very, very impressive if you can do it well, okay? So just the last minute keys. First, consider all involved. That's first. Always consider who all is affected by the decision. That is probably a first way to come up with topic sentences. Then different persuasive strategies like ethics, logic, and emotion. Okay, and then secondly, consider keys of ethics. Consider those 3 keys that I gave: fair versus unfair, right versus wrong, responsible versus irresponsible, when writing ethical topic sentences to appeal to your reader. Okay, hopefully, once again, let me switch back a bit. All right. Okay, hopefully that was not too complicated, cut and dry, I hope. I want to thank you again for tuning in, and feel free to post comments, let me know of questions, and that should be it. Let me know if you do have any questions. Thank you again and again and again for tuning in. I'll see you next time.